Picture this. You're building a massive Lego castle on your desk.
Okay.
It's got everything. Drawbridges, towers, the works. It's your masterpiece.
I'm with you.
But then, halfway through, you realize you need to build a Lego car.
Right.
But your desk is full. So to build the car, you'd have to, what, smash a turret?
Or sweep the whole castle into a bin just to clear some space. It is the worst feeling.
You lose all that momentum. But what if you could just buy second desk?
And that's it. That's the core of what we're talking about today. In the real world, a new desk is expensive. In software, it's surprisingly cheap.
And yet we're all still smashing our castles.
We are.
Welcome to the deep dive. I've been thinking a lot about how we interact with these AI tools. We tend to treat them like fancy search engines.
Like a Q&A bot?
Exactly. When really the source material argues we should be treating them like junior partners.
It's a total mental model shift. I see so many developers get frustrated. They're staring at code, waiting for the AI, copy-pasting, getting errors. And they just say, this is slower than me doing it myself.
It's interesting you say that because today's guide argues that if it feels slower, you're working linearly.
One thing at a time.
And the fix, and this is kind of the big theme today, is parallelism.
Right. Breaking out of that input-output loop.
So let's go back to that second desk idea. The guide talks about this productivity killer called the waiting game.
Oh, yeah. This is the invisible time suck. You ask the AI for a function, takes 30 seconds. You run a test suite, that takes a minute.
And in that gap,
You check Slack. You look at Twitter. You totally lose your train of thought. It's the context switch that kills you, not the wait itself.
So the solution is parallel work. For, the command line power users, the guide brings up Git work trees. I've heard of these, but can you break down what that actually is?
Sure. Think of it like this. Your project folder is your one desk. If you want to switch from a bug to a feature, you have to switch branches.
And that changes all the files.
Your whole desk transforms. But with work trees, you can have the same project in 2 different folders at the same time.
So I'd have, folder A for the login feature and folder B for a database bug, and they're both open.
Precisely. You don't close one to open the other. You have 2 desks. You push code to the AI on desk 1, and while it's thinking, you just swivel over to desk 2 and keep working.
Okay, but what if I'm not living in the terminal? What if I'm just using the Claude web interface?
Same principle. Stop using one long chat for everything. Open 5 tabs. And this part is crucial. Name them.
Name them what?
Login fix. Database logic. Tab 3 can be stupid questions.
Stupid questions.
Yeah. Everyone needs a safe space. That's where you ask, wait, how does a switch statement work again? You don't want that basic stuff cluttering up your, complex architecture discussion.
But doesn't splitting your focus like that just create chaos? I feel like my brain would just melt.
It sounds chaotic, I know. But it's actually cleaner for the AI. You have to remember, these models have a context window.
They can only remember so much.
Right. If you mix database queries and UI design and CSS tweaks in one thread, the AI gets confused. It starts making things up, splitting them, keeps the AI's memory pure.
So it keeps the AI's memory distinct and manageable.
Exactly. You're acting less like a coder and more like a product manager running a team of specialists.
Being an orchestrator means you need a plan, which brings us to the next point, the architect mindset. The source is pretty harsh here. It calls most of our prompts vending machine prompts.
Right. Make me a snake game. Fix this bug. You put a coin in, you want a product out.
And then you get mad when the code is messy.
Of course. But you'd never tell a human contractor, build me a house and just walk away.
You'd end up with a bathroom in the kitchen.
Exactly. So the fix is what they call plan mode. Before you write a single line of code, you open a new chat and you say, act as a senior software architect. You ask for a blueprint.
A file structure, libraries, data schemas.
Security risks, all of it.
You're front-loading the thinking? But doesn't that just delay the actual building? I want to see code.
It delays the start, but it massively accelerates the finish. Because changing a text description is free. Changing 500 lines of code because you chose the wrong database library, that's really expensive.
There's a tactic in here I really liked, getting a second opinion on that plan.
This is my favorite trick. So you get the plan from chat A. Then you copy it, open a totally new chat B, and you say, hey, I'm thinking of building this. Critique it, tear it apart.
It's like an adversarial review.
It is. The second AI has 0 attachment. It's fresh. It'll spot things the first one missed because it's not, high on its own supply.
So why is that planning phase so non-negotiable?
Because entropy is the default state of all code. Without a plan, complexity just spirals. With a plan, You're executing a checklist.
Fixing text is cheap. Fixing code is expensive.
That's the bottom line.
Okay, so we have our parallel desks, we have our blueprints, but then you hit the wall of repetition. I think everyone's felt this. You start a new chat, you have to remind the AI.
I use Python. I like short lines of code.
Don't use this library. It's like that movie, 50 First Dates.
Assistant amnesia. It's a huge friction point.
So the solution here is a file called CLAUDE.md. How does a simple text file fix amnesia?
Well, most of these AI coding tools can look at your project files now. So if you create a file in your main folder called CLAUDE.md, you can... That's the start. Your tech stack? Sure. But the real high-leverage stuff is lessons learned.
Give me an example.
Okay, let's say you spend 4 hours on a bug where the payment gateway crashes if an address has a special character. You fix it. Normally, that knowledge just lives in your head. But with this system, you go to CLAUDE.md and you write, lesson, payment API fails on special characters. Always sanitize input.
And the next time I ask the AI to write payment code,
it reads that file first. It knows not to make that mistake. Yep. And if it slips up, you don't just fix the code, you actually scold it. Oh. You say, you ignore the instructions, update CLAUDE.md so you never do this again.
So how does this change your relationship with the tool?
It stops being a fresh chat every time and starts kind of reading your mind.
It accumulates wisdom.
It's moving from a blank slate to institutional memory.
Exactly. The AI becomes a colleague that's been on the project as long as you have.
Let's move to automation. The guide mentions custom skills or magic spells. This sounds pretty complex.
It's actually not. We all have these boring, repetitive tasks. Check for unused variables, summarize what the team did on Slack. The idea is just to turn those into shortcuts.
Like tech debt. Right. In a really sophisticated setup, you can program a command like tech debt to run a script. But even if you're just in the web chat, you can keep a text file on your desktop. Call it myprompts.txt.
So when I want a really tough code review, I don't type out the whole thing. I just copy-paste my spell.
You got it. It just lowers the cognitive load. If asking for a code review is a hassle, you're not going to do it. If it's a quick copy-paste away, you'll do it every time.
So is this just about typing faster, or is it something more?
It's about reducing that cognitive load. It turns these repetitive chores into single-word triggers.
It lowers the barrier to doing things the right way.
Exactly.
Speaking of barriers, let's talk debugging. The red test. You run your code, the screen fills with red error text, and the human reaction is to squint at it, scroll up, try to find the one important line.
Stop playing detective. Humans are terrible at parsing thousands of lines of logs. We see what we expect to see. AIs are just logic engines. They're literal.
So what's the workflow then?
You copy the entire error log. I don't care if it's 500 lines of gibberish. You paste it in and just say, fix the failing tests.
You don't even try to give it a hint. Like, I think it's the database.
No, because you might be wrong. And if you give it a hint, you're biasing the AI. You're contaminating the evidence. Let it look at the raw data.
The source also mentions a term, MCP, Model Context Protocol. What does that actually mean?
It sounds like jargon, but think of it as giving the AI hands. Normally, the AI is a brain in a jar. It can only talk.
Right.
MCP lets the AI reach out and touch your tools. It can read your terminal, access your Slack, look at GitHub issues directly.
So instead of me pasting the logs, the AI just goes and looks at them itself.
Exactly. You can say, why is the goal failing? And it goes and checks the server logs for you. It connects the dots way faster.
Why does this work better than a human searching through logs?
Because it's analyzing logic instantly. It finds things we miss, like a missing semicolon or an inverted true-false.
It's unbiased pattern recognition versus human guessing. That brings up a really interesting tactic called grill me, which feels like the opposite of asking for help.
Yeah. Usually, we want the AI to be nice to us. Grill me is asking the AI to be mean.
How so?
You say, I'm about to commit this code. Act as a strict security auditor. Grill me on the flaws.
You're asking for a stress test.
And it will find them. It'll say, you didn't handle what happens if the internet connection drops. Or, this loop will freeze the browser with 10,000 items. It catches all the edge cases we're too optimistic to see.
Then there's the scrap it method. This one, I think I'd struggle with this. Knowing everything you know now, scrap this and implement the elegant solution.
It hurts, doesn't it? It's the sunk cost fallacy. I spent 3 hours on this. I have to make it work.
But the guide argues the second draft is always better.
Always. The first draft is for you and the AI to learn the problem. Once you understand it, that code you wrote is just baggage. If you tell the AI, okay, lesson learned, delete it, write it clean, you get a solution that's half the length and twice as fast.
It just feels so counterintuitive asking the AI to delete its own work,
But the restart carries all the lessons you learned and ditches all the baggage.
killing your darlings to lock in the lesson.
Ruthlessly.
Let's touch on the environment itself. There's a mention of things like Ghostty and voice mode. Is this just about making things look nice?
Well, Ghosty's a terminal, and yeah, good readability helps. But voice mode, that's the real game changer.
Really? I type pretty fast.
You don't type as fast as you think. But more importantly, when you type, you summarize. You cut corners, because typing is work. When you speak, you ramble, and I mean that in a good way. You provide so much more context.
So instead of typing fix this function, you're saying, okay, so I'm trying to sort this list, but I'm worried about the user data being null, and we need to make sure.
Exactly. You're dumping your entire mental state into the AI. It's just high bandwidth communication, and it gives the AI a much richer context to work with.
The guide also uses a house building analogy for something it calls subagents. How does that work?
So think about building a house. You've got your general contractor, but you also have a plumber, an electrician, a roofer. You wouldn't ask the electrician to plumb the toilet.
So a subagent is like a specialist.
Yes. For a massive task, you tell the main AI, break this down, use subagents. One agent might just go read the documentation for a new library. Another might write the SQL queries. They all report back to the main boss.
And what's the real benefit of using these subagents?
It keeps the main AI from getting, tired. It stops its context window from filling up with noise.
So specialization keeps the context clean.
Right.
We've talked a lot about building faster, but there's a fear here. If the AI writes the SQL and the AI debugs the logs, are we just forgetting how to code?
Yeah, the de-skilling fear. And it's valid, but only if you use the tool lazily. If you just say, do it, and paste the result without thinking, then yes, you will become a worse coder.
So how do you flip that script?
You turn the AI into a tutor. The source calls this the educational shift. If the AI writes a complex SQL query, don't just use it. Ask it, why did you use a left join here instead of an inner join?
You force it to explain its work.
And you can use visual aids. You can ask for an ASCII diagram. It'll literally draw a flowchart with text characters to show you how the data is moving.
And what about spaced repetition?
Yeah, quiz me on React hooks. Use that downtime. Instead of scrolling Twitter while your code compiles, have the AI grill you on concepts you're weak on. You actually end up learning faster because you have a senior engineer who never gets tired of explaining things.
So does relying on AI make us forget how to code?
Not if you use it as a senior teacher or a study buddy.
So active curiosity prevents that skill from fading.
You have to use it to create curiosity, not replace it.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to distill all this down. If you only do one thing from this list, what should it be? We've covered a lot. Parallel work trees, CLAUDE.md, adversarial grilling, voice mode. It feels like a completely new operating system for development. But if we zoom out, what's the one big idea here?
The shift is from thinking of it as a tool to thinking of it as a partner.
Meaning?
Well, you don't give a hammer a memory file. You don't ask your hammer for a plan. But if you treat AI like a hammer, you get really limited results. You have to treat it like a brilliant but junior colleague. It needs context. It needs clear instructions.
It needs a dedicated workspace.
It does. It's about leveraging the fact that it can do the heavy lifting, which frees you up to do the high-level thinking.
Your brain is for architecture, business logic, creativity.
And the AI is for syntax, boilerplate, and error checking. When you get that balance right, coding stops being a grind. It starts feeling like magic again.
So for the listener who's maybe sitting at their desk right now, don't try to do all 10 of these things at once.
No, you'll burn out. Just pick one.
And which one should that be?
I'd say start with CLAUDE.md. Just create that text file in your project. Put your tech stack in it.
Yeah.
Add just one lesson you learn the hard way. And just watch how that changes the conversation when the AI stops having amnesia.
That's the actionable step. And I'll leave you with this thought. If the AI is handling the syntax, the debugging, the boilerplate, maybe we aren't just coders anymore. Maybe this tool lets all of us finally become architects.
That's the goal.
Let the AI handle the boring stuff so you can get back to the joy of building. Thanks for diving in with us.
See you in the next one.